Yes. So any kind of issue that you guys see like on the client level, like I'm not able to, like client throws an error. Client throws an error saying that local database not found. We already resolved that error, troubleshot that error. Now, if it says a gateway server not found, I don't know where the gateway server is. You know where to go. Everything is related into CFG file only. You go to CFG file, you see it, you see the section, you see the the particular option that needs to be updated. Get the right value from the developers in your real life.
Okay.
Sample is like we all know it's installed here, but in real life you'll be talking to developers and getting the values of the parameters. Actuate server, let's say it says actuate server not found. You know where to go. In the CFG file there will be an actuate server section. That's where the client installation knows where the actuate server is lying.
And we give the connect string to that, and
We give
that's how we access that.
yes, we don't call it connect string, we call it server name or something, whatever the name is. So
or probably can we call it as an access path?
Access path. So yeah, but there will be written something like that. There will be written something. You can open that section, study that section, and spend your time on it. It's not a bad exercise to do, but I will not do it here. This really, you're not going to be doing that all your life. So similarly, fulcrum. Let's say there is a fulcrum server installed. Fulcrum is for search engine. Sometimes clients want that you give them search engine functionality.
Okay.
So fulcrum is the one which is integrated with Siebel. All this server also is going to be mentioned in the CFG file. Then again, next thing comes
Fulcrum server.
Fulcrum is for search engine capabilities. Then first logic, which is for deduplication. Now this is also going to be in CFG file. First logic server. All these things are going to be mentioned in your CFG file.
What did you say about first logic server?
Deduplication.
Deduplication.
What it means is that when
you are avoiding the duplication thing.
yes, but when end user is entering an account, if that account already exists, then first logic will throw an error saying that hey, you know what?
Okay.
Yeah, it will make first logic will make Siebel throw an error saying that this is already existing. They will not be able to enter a duplicate record. This is deduplication. Uh, Obviously, these deduplication engines like first logic are very strong. They are very powerful.
Okay.
And this is not the only functionality they provide. They provide many other functionalities like they can go in your database, search for duplicates, they can deduplicate them, they can merge them according to some rules.
Okay.
Right? And
so
first,
the other day the things that we were discussing, change record, merge records and things. So probably with this we can use that.
Yeah, first logic, what happens is, see, merging record is one thing, like finding records. I remember in like one of my clients, there were 4,000 duplicates. 80,000 records were having their duplicates.
Okay.
So can you do it manually any day in your life?
Possible, yeah.
So first logic can do all this for you. But main thing is on the go. On the go, just as you enter something, you can enter criteria in first logic, and first logic will interact with Siebel server. Whenever data is entered, it will be passed through first logic. First logic will get the data, look at it whether it is having any duplicates in the database. If it has, then it will throw an error saying that hey, you know what you're entering is a duplicate. This is the start of first logic. Let me tell you guys.
First logic. How do you give the parameters for this one to work?
First logic experts are there. This is the job of a first logic expert.
So not a Siebel consultant.
Not a Siebel consultant. We will not. Yeah, but people should.
It's good to know information.
You should know at least this portion, because somebody might say, you know what, I want to do some first logic work. I mean, you've been working for 10 years and you haven't heard first logic in your life. You see my point? You see my point? Eventually, what I want you guys to do is, you should be look at a software solution on the web, and you should be able to see how does it fit into your bigger schemes. You should try to draw a very big picture in your mind. The business systems need to have these capabilities, and you should see if somebody comes to you and says, I want to sell you some software. What does it do? It basically webify this. You should be able to see where does it fit in the whole scheme of things, right? So first logic is a deduplication software. Similarly, Fulcrum is a search engine software. What it can do is it can interact with your server. It can fit with your server. When something comes in your server, some request for some information comes for your server, it can search through the whole database and throw the information out. That's what Fulcrum does.
The functionality that we have in Siebel application search is it not of the same kind of what we are talking about the Fulcrum server?
That's very minimum. That's very minimum.
So probably at a record level, probably it's just trying to retrieve the data.
Yes.
Depending upon user giving the parameters there.
Yes. Other thing, it's not very powerful. Let me tell you why. See, first logic functionality can always be implemented in Siebel by using scripting.
Oh yeah.
But like deduplication, we do that. We do validation, right? If there is something like, if for example, there is a validation, like if the name exists, We can say like, we can do like this. If the name exists, then throw an error. Cbl can also do this, but you have to do coding.
Yeah.
First logic means you don't have to do coding.
So let me come back here to clarification once again. You're telling probably what we can do in the first logic server is everything is done through scripting, e-scripting, right?
Yes, in case of Cbl.
In case of Cbl. When it is e-scripting, are we using JavaScript or VBScript?
eScript. Cbl has a script called as eScript.
That's its own script.
Yeah.
But, okay. And does the market standards encourage VBScript or JavaScript for Cbl?
They cannot be used.
They cannot be used?
Cbl has its own proprietary language, eScript.
eScript, that's fine. But when you're using the actuate reports and all, basically, for report, actuate reports,
Yeah.
which comes inbuilt with Cbl.
Yeah.
And for writing any reports, basically, you use VBScript. Is that true?
No. For writing the reports, actuate has its own development environment.
Okay.
And they use actuate VB, they use actuate script, they use actuate C++. I really don't care. If they make a report and give it to me, I'm fine with howsoever they make the report.
Okay.
Right? The Cbl should be able, that report should be accessible in Cbl. That's my work, and that's what you should think about.
Okay.
Yeah. How that actual report will be made is an actuate developer's problem.
So that's not a Cbl consultant or a Cbl configurator's job at all?
Not at all. It has nothing to do with Cbl technical people.
Oh, something new.
Yes. Similarly, first logic, setting up all the rules, how to set all those rules is a job of a first logic person, not yours. Not us, yes, not us, not even Cbl developer's job. Similarly, setting up fulcrum search server is fulcrum search server's issues.
Okay.
The ability to interact with Cbl is the only thing that you should be worried about a little bit. Cbl team should be worried about a little bit. Even in that, Cbl server admin is the guy who will be worried a little bit about it, but you wouldn't be. Yeah, Cbl admin. Now you asked me a question, what is eapps, eapps.cfg, right? See, back in Cbl 6 days, we used to have dedicated clients.
Version 6.
Version 6. We have those in 7.7 also. We have those in Cbl 7 also. But to make the things very clear, in Cbl 7, the most famous client is web client, which is a zero footprint client. There is no installation required on the client side. Whereas in case of Cbl 6 days, the most famous client was a dedicated client, and installation was required on the client side.
Full installation.
Full installation. Now, yeah, the full installation was required. In case of Cbl 7, in case of Cbl 7, when you do the full installation, then that's what the dedicated client of the past is. Thick dedicated client of the past is. Now, in both these clients, you have a local CFG file, which we just saw. Whereas in case of Cbl 7 web client, which is a total web application, there is no installation required on the server, and that's not the application we are using. So don't confuse the application 7.7. We are using a different client of 7.7, whereas the one that you'll use in the client side will be a little different client. That will be not little, it's a whole totally different. There will be no installation required.
Okay.
They'll give you a website name. You go on their website name, put your login ID, password. That's it. You don't need any installation. You know that. Okay. For that, the CFG file
resides on the server.
On the server. And what is the name of that CFG file?
That is called
eapps.cfg.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, you got it now?
Yeah.
So eapps.cfg used to be a useless file in 6 days. In 7 days, it's the most useful file. It's the most useful file because that's where everything is written.
SWSE, Cbl Web Server Extension.
Ah, yeah.